there's this illusion that somehow the freedom that some people seem to have to just live from their true self, they just get to do that because they got listen. No, whatever success you think they have, it came because early on they made decisions and they were willing to step into the unknown and take the hits, and they decided to live from their core, from their soul early on. There's this great business book, From Good to Great, where this author, Jim Collins, he talks about companies that seem to be focused just on making the best thing, trusting that if they make the best thing, the finances will follow and the profits will follow. And he said, what's interesting, if you look at those companies, because, well, of course, they're really successful, they can talk like that. But he said if you trace their earliest origins, they set out simply to make the best thing. And they knew if they got that right, the profits would follow. And he actually takes you through the data on this. And when I first read that, I was like, no way, because it was in a completely different area, sort of business world, but for me, it's like, this is what I've been feeling. You decide early on that you're going to live from your heart, and you're going to pursue your path. And of course you're going to run into some walls, and you're going to trip and fall flat on your face. That's all part of it. But you decide, and you can decide now. And there will always be cost. There will always be butterflies. There will always be nerves. There will always be the sense like your palms are sweaty and you're wondering, what have I done? What are we doing here? This is crazy. That's just part of it. Are things not how you want them to be? Do you have this sense of, I wonder what if? Do you have a sense of restlessness, like there's something new coming? Or simply is it a sense like the chapter that you're in is coming to an end? Now sometimes this is a sign of unhealth, that in the recovery movement, wherever you go, there you are. Sometimes you have the sense of, I just need to get out of here, and you get out of here and you realize that whatever was the problem there has followed you there. So first off, sometimes you have to go deeper in and ask better questions. Like, is this just me hitting the eject button because I can't deal with the pain of staying here and actually confronting what's here? And it will just follow you somewhere else. So sometimes it's unhealth and it's toxic, and we need to stay where we are and actually do all the work that we need to do there. But other times, it is the end of the season, and there's a new season beginning, but it will always involve some element of risk. Either the risk of going deep into our own interior life to discover, how come there's this thing wherever I am, there it is. What is it? So there's always risk. It's the risk of staying put but journeying deep into your interiors, or it's the risk of trying something new. There will always be some form of risk. That's just how it works. And here's why I say that. Pay attention when you find yourself asking everyone around you what they think. This can be really helpful when you're looking for the wisdom of people around you that you trust enough to tell you the hard truths. It can be really absolutely necessary that you have sought the wisdom of the elders. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's the people around you who know you well enough that they'll actually tell you you're crazy. That's not helpful. I think you're actually running from something. So you have that element of asking everyone around you what they think. But then when you have that wisdom, there's a thing that can happen sometimes when you keep asking everyone around you what they think. But it's actually a way of avoiding what you know is true. It's like we keep asking because that's how we ease the anxiety of knowing that we actually do know what to do. That there's fear there and it has to be confronted as too terrifying, so we just keep talking. Now, fear kept you alive. Your reptilian brain, your early ancestors, like, fear kept you alive. It let you know there's a lion in the bush, run. So fear is a part of it. Don't fight it, acknowledge it. It's there. Don't pretend like you don't have fear. But there is an inner wisdom. I take seriously the Christ wisdom, Jesus, who says, I in you and you in me. You possess an inner Christ consciousness, an inner Christ wisdom. It is a north star deep in your bones. It is the image of the divine that you reflect. It is there. And it tells you, it reminds you, it clarifies your true self. And one of the tasks of the spiritual life is to learn to listen to that voice, to seek the wisdom of those around you, but then to listen to that inner Christ wisdom, and to learn when you are being distracted and pulled away from that inner Christ wisdom that reminds you who you are, that speaks to you of your deepest true self. And here's one of the ways you know when you are in that flow and on that path, is you will stop needing everybody around you to understand. There's this thing that happens, you ever found yourself in this explaining mode when you're trying to get everybody around you to understand the step that you're taking? The energy that you spend trying to get the people around you to understand what you're doing is energy that you could spend doing it. All that energy that's getting expended, either trying to explain or, worse yet, trying to defend, is energy you could spend doing it. And for some people, you see it. You have this vision. You have this glimpse of the thing you're going towards. They don't. So to honor them, just do it. For a lot of people, once you've done it, they'll get it, they'll see it, but not until you've done it. And sometimes when we keep talking about the thing we're going to do, the thing you're going to write, the thing you're going to start, why doesn't everybody around me get what I'm trying to do? Because it's your path. You're the one who sees it. You're the one who's been given that vision. They don't see it because it's not their path. So stop trying to get them on your path. Just do your path. Take the step. We all have our empty seat moments. The moments when you're facing your deepest fears that you're done, that you're irrelevant. And yet you have this inner wisdom that tells you no. I remember on those drives and looking out those empty seats and thinking, I know there are people out there who are so hungry for a new spiritual path, who have no problem with Jesus, who actually find Jesus more compelling than ever. They just can't do that whole giant thing that's built up around them. I know there's a tribe out there somewhere. Sometimes all you have is a deep inner conviction, and then you just have a bunch of empty seats, and you keep going. There's this story about Eleazar the Maccabee. It's in the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees 6, to get specific. And actually, Maccabees is an intertestamental book, so it's a book in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And it gives you sort of the annals of Jewish history in that intertestamental period. And the Greeks, specifically the Seleucids, and specifically Antiochus Epiphanes, had conquered Israel. And there was a constant battle, and the Maccabees were battling them, essentially fighting them off. So I shouldn't say they conquered, they were trying to conquer. And there were these heroic Maccabees, this Jewish family that rose up and led this resistance. And there's a story about Eleazar, who was the second youngest brother of Judah the Maccabee, the legendary Maccabean. But Eleazar is in battle against the Greeks. And the Greeks would march in a very specific formation. They would march with 1,000 soldiers surrounding an elephant. And then the elephant had a tower built on the elephant, and there were archers, bow and arrows, firing bow and arrows from the top of these massive towers that were strapped to the back of an elephant. And there's this story that Eleazar sees the Greeks, and the elephant that he sees in the middle of the 1,000 warriors is got an extra tower on, like it's got like a really nice tower on it, and he thinks that that might be the king's elephant. And so he fights through the 1,000 armored warriors. He battles all the way through them and gets under the elephant. And he stabs the elephant and kills it. And the elephant dies, and then it falls on top of him and kills him and collapses on top of him and kills him. It's the best, weirdest story ever. He kills the elephant and it dies, but then it falls on top of him and kills him. And here's why I love this story. By the way, I've never told that story to a group that the group just didn't go instantly quiet. Like, is that supposed to be inspiring? Am I supposed to be moved by that story? What a weird story. And here's why I love it. If you're gonna die, and you're gonna die, we're all gonna die, but you're living. So if you're gonna die, you might as well go down in flames. You might as well get crushed by an elephant. You're going to die. You're going to have financial struggle. Life is going to knock you around. You are going to have pain. People are going to betray you. There are going to be times when you look at the bills and you're like, how are we ever going to pay this? You are going to be misunderstood. All this is going to happen. So you might as well throw yourself into something that fills you with life. It's not like you find your path and it's just, you find something you love to do and then it's easy. It's going to be difficult no matter what. There's going to be some form of empty seats no matter what. So you might as well, you might as well go for it. And I know that sounds really motivational speakery. That's because it is. Because that's what I believe. You get this one shot at it. Why live your life wondering what if? Why live standing at a distance from your own life? You throw yourself into it. And it will look different for you than it is for me. There will be moments when there's this one step you have to take, and it will be such a small step. And no one around you will understand how significant it is, but you will understand. So there's a new book coming out. Nobody may read it, nobody may buy it, nobody may care. I'll go on this new tour. There may be 20 people on this new tour, and I'll give them my very best. It always has some element of risk. And if you're like, well, it's nice for you to say, no. There's always some element of risk. You never have any idea how you or your work is going to be received in the world. Doesn't matter how much you've done it, doesn't matter how long you've done it, there are no guarantees. You throw yourself into it, knowing that you cannot control how people will respond to you. So, like I walked out on the stage a couple nights ago in Sydney, tonight I get to speak in Melbourne, and there's people there, and they're so happy to be there, and I'm so happy to be there. And those of you in Sydney, when I said to be here, to have you show up, I can't tell you what it means. There's a reason why I say that. There's a reason why I'm so grateful. The fact that a year ago I started talking into one of my son's microphones, and we put it on iTunes, and you people started listening. The reason why I keep saying to you, I can't believe I get to talk and do this podcast, the feedback you all give, traveling around and meeting you all and having you all say that you've been listening to the broadcast, when I say how grateful I am, it's because I have gone through, maybe it's over. Maybe that was a period of life, and now we'll go do something else. Kristen and I had a running joke that at any point I could just sell shoes.